Good enough. I'm starting this one out. What's the title of this episode?
The Red Angel. 2 guesses what it's about.
Project Daedalus. Oh, wait, technically it is. Fuck.
Hello, and welcome to A Star to Steer Her By, a Star Trek podcast. My name is Jake, and joining me are...
Chris.
Ames.
And that's it.
Oh no, the Red Angel didn't come for us. Shit.
Oh no. Well, we've killed Caitlin for nothing.
Or only she got space raptured, one or the other.
Yeah, that's possible. But anyway, this is episode 394 of our podcast, and we are talking about Star Trek Discovery. Episode number unknown. It is called The Red Angel. The Red Angel.
What? Oh, I've been calling her the Red Angle this whole time.
Oh, jeez. You goofed. But anyway, what happens in The Red Angel? Let me see if I can remember.
Good God, so much. Good luck.
I was coming down from some NyQuil, so my recollection of it is limited.
Oh, you lucky bastard. I watched it sober.
I'm pretty certain Jake fell asleep several times.
It's possible. Well, so you'll recall from our last week, we killed off our cyborg friend Ariam.
Our favorite character.
Everyone's favorite character, as we find out this week, because everyone is having a big sad about it, which, you know, a crew member died. I can understand. We do the old funeral in the shuttle
Saru
bay.
sings a song. It's so cute.
Saru sings. And then we put her down the elevator that for some reason this time does not rotate. I want to bring that up because the last time we used that big elevator in the floor in the shuttle bay, it fucking rotated and it was stupid. And this time it didn't.
Well, see,
Was
that
it
what
less
the
stupid?
fuck? Less stupid.
The thing is, when you're at a funeral, you deactivate wacky mode because that would be inappropriate.
That's right. Yeah.
Good God.
I was expecting like the casket to go
Oh
no!
Wings. Transform and roll out.
But anyway, yeah, so we give Ariam the burial at space that she deserves. And yeah, everyone's having a big sad, but we also want to figure out what's going on with all this Red Angel bullshit. And we have a new lead. Project Daedalus. Oh my God, what is it all about? So we get joined by our friends from Section 31, Giorgio and Baldy. And they're like, yes, Project Daedalus. Yeah, that's the thing that we know all about. It's a time travel thing. We could have told you all about this way sooner because the Red Angel suit looks exactly like the Project Daedalus suit we were building, and we couldn't put 2 and 2 together for some reason. But yeah, anyway, by the way, Burnham, your parents were involved in this, maybe? And it was some kind of time travel experiment because the Klingons were doing it, and we needed to one-up them. It was like a Cold War arms race sort of thing. Anyway, the project didn't work. Everyone died, and it sucked. So we abandoned it. But it might be that somebody is still doing it. Oh, and by the way, I can't remember where was it from Ariam's data. Somehow we figured out that the Red Angel is actually Michael Burnham. I can't remember exactly how.
Yeah, it was like a bioneural signature they somehow got, I think, from Ariam's.
Yeah,
I think they got it from Ariam.
They pulled everything out of Ariam's head after they found her in space.
Including the malware.
Well, they saved that. Yeah,
so we're comparing notes with Section 31. Section 31's like, yeah, time travel. We're like, yeah, Michael Burnham. And they're like, funky. So then they're like, well, we need to do something. We need to capture the Red Angel. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take the old transporters from the Shenzhou and set them up on this weird planet for some reason. Oh, and we also figured out that the Red Angel only shows up when Michael Burnham is in jeopardy because
shows
the Red
Angel.
Yeah, shows up to us.
He shows up other times.
So we can put Michael Burnham in lethal jeopardy. And then the Red Angel should show up. So we're going to put her on this planet that's got a very toxic atmosphere. Then we're going to expose her to the toxic atmosphere that's going to burn her face off.
Burn and burn them.
Raiders of the Lost Ark style. And then, we're going to push her to the brink of death. And then the Red Angel should show up. But of course, if the Red Angel is Michael Burnham, whatever. Doesn't fucking matter.
1 + 1 + 2 + 1.
Right. So we're about to do it. And we set everything up, and the plan is basically we're going to let Michael Burnham almost die. She'll be only mostly dead, and then Culber is going to go out and fix her real quick if the Red Angel doesn't show up. But then Spock is like, haha, you fucking idiots.
Finally,
That's just
my
what
revenge.
I wanted you to believe. I'm finally going to get my revenge for that time she made me feel bad. I'm going to let her die. So Spock goes rogue, as he does, holds everyone at gunpoint and is like, no, you can't save her. She has to die. Because the Red Angel won't show up unless she's actually dead. And what do you know? He was right. And even he was surprised.
I
the Red
totally
Angel
shows
shows
to do
up.
that.
Yeah. So Red Angel shows up and revives Burnham. And then they capture the Red Angel with like the proton pack thing.
Don't cross the streams.
Yeah, they cross the streams. They capture
so
the Red
hard.
Angel. They use an EMP or something to disable the suit.
Like you do.
And then they put her in a big force field. And then she takes the suit off, and it's old Michael Burnham. Wait, no, it's not old Michael Burnham. It's Momkel Burnham. Michael Burnham's mom. Because Michael Burnham looks at this woman who's not Michael Burnham and goes, Mom? And happy Mother's Day, everyone, by the way. We're recording this on Mother's Day.
That is true.
Appropriate.
That is
Look at that.
true. I am
Happy Michael Burnham's Mom's Day.
I am so glad you said Momkel Burnham, because as soon as you said, is it old Michael Burnham? I thought, no, it's Momkel. Oh, I hope he says Momkel.
Nice.
Wow, you guys shared a moment. I was out with
did.
it.
I'm trying to remember if there was any other B-plot stuff. I mean,
We killed
Culber
Leland.
and-
Oh, yeah, Leland
We
got
didn't-
stabbed in the eyes.
Well, I don't know if we killed him. He was trying to do some funky shit with the Section 31 stuff, and he got jabbed in the eye by a
Ouch.
thing. I don't know if he's dead or not.
We'll find out next week, I guess.
And we got a little bit more, like, Culber actually sits down with Cornwell as a shrink.
And she
Oh, yeah.
cures him in 5 seconds.
Well, she's given him a path. We don't know he's cured yet. I will say, though, most people, when they're, like, depressed or conflicted or whatever, they, you know, the stereotype is you sit around in sweatpants and just look sad. Culber's like, I am going to strut around the ship in this amazingly tailored suit. Which, like, fuck yeah, sure. I love that they just decided, hey, since he's not in uniform, let's put him in this amazing outfit, and he's going to look great.
Yeah, all the civilian outfits are quite good. Like, I know I like whenever Michael's on Vulcan wearing something cute. And
Yeah,
they have
and
figured out
Yeah, it's
how
a far
people
cry
dress.
from like the old civilian garb of the TNG era where
Weird
everyone was
sweaters.
just wearing weird sweaters and pajamas.
Yeah, like, you can say, like, it's just kind of a contemporary to the time of filming suit, but honestly, considering what they have done in the past to try to make stuff look like civilian but futuristic, yeah, I'll take this.
Let's have more clashing colors. That's the future, right?
Like in poor Jake Sisko looking like a series of,
MBTA benches.
yeah, bus seats, as has been pointed out multiple times on the internet.
Nice. But yeah, so this episode.
Oh God, this episode. This is definitely the episode where I fucking tuned out of Discovery, because this is when there's, like, I didn't follow any of this plot.
There's so many issues. Let's start with several weeks ago, they said that suit is beyond current technological capabilities. And I don't care how secret Section 31's shit is. Like, you can't say it is completely beyond. You need to say it's like, this is really advanced, but not like, this is, like, what? And also, like, why would the Klingons be looking
this is
into
an
time
arms race
travel?
this is an arms race with the Klingons over temporal tech. Was this a reference to something, or is this net new?
I think it's new.
As far as I can tell,
I was
yeah.
trying
Like,
to figure out if this was something that we saw in Enterprise that I missed, or what.
well, that's right. Like, unless this is a fragment of the temporal Cold War, who would have turned the Klingons on it? That's not their jam. Science.
And well, exactly.
They like
And
cloaks.
I also don't like the idea that they say that, like, oh, the Klingons could go back in time and conquer and destroy us while we're
That's
still
a
in the
Xindi thing.
primordial soup or whatever. And I'm just like, wait a minute, that's not what the Klingons would absolutely loathe that idea, because
There's no honor in it.
there's no honor in it. And it's like the whole point of being a warrior is that you like dominate your enemy and you conquer them and you're matched. Like there wouldn't be sporting to go and like piss in somebody's primordial soup.
we have definitely seen some Klingons, though, who are like, victory by any means is honorable. But yes,
yeah, but those are individual Klingons. As a collective, they would not do this.
Yeah, no,
just destroying your enemy in the crib is not victory.
No,
I don't think Klingons would feel that way. But Ash Tyler's like, yeah, we totally would do that.
What does Ash Tyler fucking know?
I had said this with no evidence several weeks ago, but now I'm really starting to think that Section 31 is meddling in Klingon politics way more than they're saying. I think they are running all kinds of shit on Kronos. If anything, there's all right, well, the Klingons look into it, we'll look into it. It would have made more. I think what it really comes down to is they came up with this idea that it's a time travel weapon arms race. And they were like, well, everyone knows the Klingons, so we'll use them instead of a species that would makes sense.
And we already have a plot ongoing with the Klingons because we have L'Rell and we have Ash. So we have these characters we can pull from, even though they're not at all relevant.
Yeah.
What if you keep dropping these seeds about these logic extremists? Maybe it could have been them.
Oh, that's interesting. That's actually interesting because then
the Vulcan science director has determined that time travel is not possible.
Yeah, but these are extremists.
And also, that was a century ago, and they have had time travel rubbed in their face so much now.
Oh yeah.
So and then you've got a little internal tension beyond just Section 31, and you actually maybe do something with these logic extremists who have mostly existed to be a plot device.
It can therefore also be meaningful that Spock isn't the one who's involved.
And again, it ties back into the fact that they have been just continually fucking with Sarek's family.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's just so much in this episode that seems so overwritten. I was reading a synopsis of this episode, and it's just paragraphs of explaining what the fuck is going on. And it's okay, so the Control is from the future, trying to gather the ability to make itself a real boy. And meanwhile, the Red Angel is a time-traveling mech suit from Section 31 that Michael's parents were involved in, and Leland got them killed, but they weren't killed because now we have Mommy back. And oh my god, there's so fucking much going on, and none of it makes sense to me.
But what's confusing, I think, and maybe this will be explained in a future episode, but that they're absolutely certain that the Red Angel is Michael Burnham. That it's unmistakable that this signature comes from Michael Burnham. So are they going to say, oh, well, no, it was Michael Burnham's mom the whole time, but they have a very similar signature because
I'm sure it's going to be something like that.
Paternal, maternal, whatever.
Yeah, that'll come up next week, I'm sure.
Or are there two Red Angels? Is Michael Burnham also... Are there two suits? Are they a crime-fighting duo in the future?
Listen, I remember when I very first watched this episode and it was revealed, the trace belongs to Michael Burnham. Feeling a fucking course it does. How fucking obvious is this? This is it's so questionable if you want to call Michael Burnham a Mary Sue, because a lot of people do it kind of derogatorily and shit. But the writers really don't help. And then at the very end, when it's her mom, I fucking rejoiced the first time I watched this episode. Oh, thank God. They turned it on its head and made it something new. It would be so fucking stupid if Michael Burnham were the one that were the Red Angel.
It's also in a metatextual context, explains why so much of the events of this season do end up tying back to her, because her mother's been watching over her through time, it turns out.
Well,
yeah, by the strictest definition of a Mary Sue, she isn't, because usually they just show up. And it's not just that they're sort of a central character who solves a lot of problems, but everyone is, loves and adores them, which, certainly was not the case in the first season.
But they do now.
Most people do, but she's still, it's again, by the strictest definition, I think she doesn't actually fit the bill. I think she's just a lead character in a way that, when it's a guy written this way, people don't complain as frequently.
I think one of these days we should actually determine who the biggest Mary Sue in Star Trek is, and that would be fun. It's going to be Spock, isn't it?
I was about to say, as of the past few years, probably Spock. But again, I think that's a more recent shift. Well, yeah, that'll be interesting.
I mean, Kirk is certainly a contender.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because he's almost a Poochie, everyone, when he's not on screen, where's Kirk?
And the shit he gets away with. Getting away with shit as a major character in Star Trek is pretty much par for the course, but goddamn, he gets away with some crazy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot how badly the wheels came off partway through this season.
Like the fact that why are we trapping the Red Angel to begin with? There's question number one is we figured out it's Michael Burnham. We have to capture her. And it's also very funny to me because I noticed this many times. Everyone else in all of these meetings just keep referring to the Red Angel as her and the Red Angel and that being thing with the mech suit. But Michael only refers to it as me.
Yeah.
And no one else is like, it's actually you, Michael. We're going to talk about her as if it's you and not another fucking being.
She got a god complex instantly when she found out it was her.
Well, no, actually, I think it's interesting because it's like these people are trying to distance themselves from the fact that, as far as they know, it's their colleague. And they're trying to maintain this, like, distance. And she's like, yeah, okay, but this is actually me, guys. So can we please stop, like, referring to me in the third person in front of me? Even though it is sort of...
It's not her. I think you have to consider someone who is like probably from somewhere far in the future, or they could assume that it's for her somewhere in the future who has this new thing as a distinct individual. Like whenever we have like two Janeways in a room, old like Admiral Janeway and Captain Janeway, they don't talk to each other and say me.
No, yeah, and like, but that's when they're together. I still think I'm on her side with this one. Like, they're trying to maintain this, like, we still don't really know, and yeah, they don't. It turns out, but still, like, I'd be like, guys, this is me. So, like, can we not pretend it isn't?
Okay, let's go back. Why are we capturing her?
Yeah, that I don't know.
Okay,
I think
good.
They said so that, like, I know they wanted to cut off the wormhole because they were afraid other things from the future might follow her. But why they need to actually, I guess they need to capture her so she can't reopen it, maybe? Wasn't that a Section 31 idea, too? Like, don't trust anything Section 31 suggests.
Yeah, that was the first moment of this episode that I'm like, well, okay, we figured out that it's Michael, sure, a head trip. And then they jump immediately to let's capture it. And I don't think I followed why. There was all this, it's an episode-long technobabble with a lot of, like, little individual, like, emotion scenes, which Michael does rock all the emotional scenes. Mm-hmm. But I'm just not following the through line. And then we determine, like, okay, good, we figured out that the reason that she always turns up is when Michael is in peril. So 2 times that happened is a pattern. God damn it, Spock. Let's try to kill off Michael. And they jump to this conclusion with absolutely, like, minuscule evidence. And what the shit? And god damn it.
Yeah, like, it like I said, that is definitely not a pattern. The thing that does make it seem a little more likely is when Leland is like, oh, yeah, so actually we know what this is and your parents were involved. And it's like, could have mentioned that sooner.
Why did he bring that up?
Because this was the time. It's just like last week with the Arium thing where we get all of Arium's backstory in one episode. It's like, oh, we need to close the loop on this Red Angel thing this week. So let's just make it so that Section 31 always knew about it.
Well,
and we won't question why they never brought it up before.
They did at least seed this one, unlike Arium, where like a few weeks ago, Georgia was like, you killed her parents.
Yeah, you killed her parents, though, doesn't mean
it does not.
That's like, it doesn't tie it to the Red Angel. It just ties it to Leland bad.
Yeah. No, I know. That's still more effort than they put into Arium.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And everything connects back to Michael, which is kind of boring.
This is, again, like, this would have all worked better if things had been getting seeded from the word go. But we're finding out about things as they happen. It's like, guys, if you're going to do serialized television, serialize.
That's the thing. Like, I actually, like, the first half of this season, as we've just been discussing through it, like, there's been a lot that I've liked.
Yeah.
And I don't, like, how would you go back and, like, start seeding things in those episodes without destroying the things that people already liked?
I mean, at the very least, actually start making Arium a character earlier.
Oh, yeah, like last fucking season.
Have her, well, you like, all right, so you didn't do it in the first, and actually, what's funny is, remember how I'd said, I think last week, like, I don't think they knew what she was in the first season? They didn't. There were conflicting reports over what she was.
Oh, that's funny.
Like, never in the show, but when they were, like, talking to people who worked on it, there was like, she's an augmented alien. Oh, she's this, she's that. It was only when they brought in new Arium with the intention of killing her off. It was like, oh, yeah, so this is what you are. They told, the actor Hannah Cheeseman that. And I was...
Cheeseman.
Such a good name. I love that name.
And I think I may have mentioned this previously, but yeah, part of the reason that they killed her off, I guess, maybe. Well, anyway, the original Ariam, who comes in as Milson this week, out of makeup.
Oh, we've seen her before too, though.
Yeah, but she had been the original Ariam actor, but she was allergic to the makeup.
Yep.
So, which is why they brought in a new one.
So really, they just wanted this actor on the show,
for some reason,
that's why
yeah.
they killed off the other.
Because they're going to do so much with her going forward. Whoa, wait.
I like how everyone gives her the stink eye when she walks on the bridge. It's like, it's not her fucking fault she's taking your friend's job.
I don't
Jesus.
think it was. I don't think it was stink eye. It was someone.
It was a sad eye.
Yeah, it's like,
yeah, but still, it had to have made her feel bad.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I don't think they were just holding anything against her. But I think it was a natural sense of like, oh, right, someone has to replace her. This is weird. But yeah, no, they didn't know what Ariam was the first season. But like, so yeah, you go back, you start introducing Ariam in like episode 1 of this season at the very least. Give her background, establish the whole like memory upload thing way sooner.
Yeah, because it's so humanizing.
Have her interact with people. Like, you don't have to take away a lot from the early stuff. Maybe you cut out some of the pointless Klingon bullshit that felt like it was only there because they were like, we want to wrap this up. But it's like, you kind of did.
Yeah, but now we know there's going to be Klingons in the next bit because of the arms race question marks.
Yeah, so like, I think there's ways they could have just... You don't even necessarily have to make new stuff. You just start putting this stuff earlier.
Yeah.
Not when
I even think they could have done the Ariam backstory as like a short trek, you know, instead of the stupid Tilly with the food fight girl.
You're right. That would have been a way better short trek, actually.
You know, speaking of Tilly, I think if Mary Weissman were to like murder, like if she were to go nuts and like go and murder the writers of this show, that like no jury would find her guilty because the writers do her so dirty by having her. There's a scene in this episode that's just like epitomizes everything that I find terrible about what they do with this character, where they have all the grown-ups are having a meeting. Tilly bursts in, starts neurotically babbling. I don't even remember what the point of the scene was. I couldn't pay attention to it. I just wanted to scream, shut the fuck up! Shut up!
And Pike basically did. Yeah, this is when she came in to be like, oh, the Red Angel's Michael.
Yeah. Yeah, that's important information for the plot. Why can't it be delivered in a sane way? Yeah,
like she's, you know, at this point, they've announced and production is well underway. Actually, the filming is done on that Starfleet Academy show she's going to be in. And
she's fucking. I hope they fix the character again.
I mean, I feel like I'm now doubting my own memory, but I feel like they do better with her in the remaining seasons of this show.
Yeah. I go back to the whole. Yeah, she sucked at the beginning of season 1. They made her better by the end of season 1. And then they totally regressed it in season 2, and it's not gotten any better. It's
like they have a prerequisite that whenever she walks into a scene, there's like, now remember, Tilly is a blathering mess 90% of the time. So whatever you start off, whatever line of dialogue she has, it has to be blathering.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can get to your scene.
There's people that are out there that are thinking or saying, no, you guys are wrong. She's just
kooky. She's whimsical.
Kooky, or she's neuroatypical or whatever, like whatever. But here's the thing. They have the character grow. Yeah. They show the growth in the character in season 1. Go back and watch it. And that's fine. Like, it's fine that she starts out in this way. And it would be even fine if she had stayed that way. I don't know if I care for it all that much, but it would have been fine. It doesn't make sense to me that they started her this in this like neurotic babbling way. They develop the character, she grows, and then they regress it. That's the part that I have problem with.
Yeah, I think you just made me think this, but like it kind of feels like she's a neuroatypical character written by someone who's neurotypical.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, they're fun and wacky, and it's like, fuck off.
Write it. Make sure it's in every scene that she's in to make sure there's a little bit of that wackiness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely thought that too, because there was that scene where she just wanders in and starts blathering. There was a whole scene in engineering when Giorgio is picking on Stamets, as is her wont, that I'm not even sure why Culber and Tilly come in, but it made the scene so fucking stupid.
Oh, there was something that Giorgio said that just made, like, I almost had to ask you to call an ambulance because I was worried that my eyes were not going to unroll themselves. There was something that Giorgio said, though, and I wish I wrote it down or could remember what it was, but it was so... Oh, it was like when she was talking about how Stamets in her universe is pansexual, and they get into... She said something like, "Oh, we get into all sorts of sexy fun together."
Like supernova level fun or something.
Yeah, it was like
science fiction bullshit.
Oh, that's a terrible way to word things.
It is.
I mean, it's gross enough as it is, because, like, the mirror universe people flaunting bisexuality as evil is dumb. Like, they're making her evil about it.
That's such an old trope,
It's
too.
so weird. It so doesn't belong in this fucking show. But yeah, also, just that scene just teamed with, like, awkward acting. And I can't tell if it's because it's the characters were feeling awkward, because, Hugh and Paul are in a room together, and they don't know if they like each other anymore, but also just everyone was just acting like they didn't know what they were doing in this scene.
I think it's because it is some of the worst dialogue this show has ever had. The actors just didn't know how to navigate it.
It was really bad.
Like, I think the implication was supposed to be like, yeah, Paul and... Because I think there was a line that implied that maybe, and again, I might be misinterpreting, but like Tilly had kind of lured Culber there to try to force Stamets and him to, like, talk. Because I think Giorgio says something that implies that that's what she figures out. Anyway, point is, the dialogue is terrible in the whole scene, and the best actors in the world couldn't make that shit work.
Yeah.
Weird.
And these are all some very good actors. And I think, again, it's just like, what do you do with this garbage?
Right. And, like, yeah, there's nothing I associate more with fascist regimes than, like, sexual freedom and acceptance of people with different sexualities.
I mean, I think it ties back to the issue we had, but the issue that, like, for years, the whole kind of one of the defining characteristics of the mirror universe was that it could be more overtly horny. But now that we exist in a world that, until Trump continues to roll back everything, people are just generally more accepting of sexualities and being openly sexual in general. Like, all they could do with the mirror universe was just keep, well, they didn't have to, but they chose to be like, all right, we'll just keep ramping up the horniness. So that, like, now it's like, yeah, they're not just, like, cool with shit, they're, like, just constantly running around with fucking massive, like, horniness
and shoving it down your throat.
Yeah,
literally.
No.
Like, it's just, they didn't know how to deal with the fact that the world had caught up to the mirror universe, essentially.
Yeah.
But they made it creepy. They made it gross and creepy that way, though. Like, there's a big difference between Mirror Kira, Intendant Kira, using it kind of as a weapon because she's the Intendant.
Yeah.
And Mirror Giorgio taunting the gay boys. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, that like, again, they shouldn't have done what they did. I don't, like, you just kept the mirror universe horny, yes, obviously, but you didn't need to crank it to, like, 1,000 and make it weird.
Yeah. I feel like the actors were uncomfortable in those scenes, and I don't blame them.
No, I do not either.
Honestly, I the biggest problem I have is the dialogue itself. I wish I wrote down the exact line that Giorgio said, but it was the worst line in Star Trek, possibly.
I will say, though, I mean, again, the scene's fucking terrible, and it grew out of dumb stuff, but the little back and forth, I do find it funny when she calls him Poppy. Did you just call me Poppy? His delivery of that was good, because I think that was the one line. That was the one line that I think made sense. Did you just call me Poppy? Yeah, no, that scene was so poorly written. Like, this, oh boy, this season, like, the wheels just came off like a week or two ago, and I don't know that they're getting put back on at any point.
Yeah, because, like, the plot is at the point where it's nonsense, because, we talked a while back during our relativity episode for Voyager. We'd had our time travel blogtivity, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I brought up in that blogtivity, check it out on Tumblr, where I know all of you are following us. I wrote down that this is one of my least favorite time travel plots in Star Trek, this Red Angel thing, because it's so convoluted. It's convoluted, and by the end of it, especially this episode today, you're left feeling stupid because it doesn't make sense. You're left feeling like you're the one who should be keeping up with all of this technobabble when they're not explaining it in a way that makes it make sense.
Honestly, without getting into how this season ends for the few of you who maybe haven't seen it yet, I feel like a lot of this plot exists only for the sake of what they do later, and I think that's maybe why a lot of it just... They wanted something to happen, and they couldn't figure out a better way to do it.
I wonder what thing you're referring to, but we're going to get there in the next couple of weeks, so...
Yeah, I'm saying it out loud now so that hopefully one of us will remember when we get to the finale.
Well, I don't know what thing you're referring to, so it's going to have to be you, Chris.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah, like, I like time travel as a concept.
Sure.
Like, there are some really great time travel stories in Star Trek, and just, you know, in science fiction media in general.
Yeah.
But there are ways to make it work, and there are ways to make it, like, not work. And I think right now it's not working for me because no one has any motivation to do anything.
Yeah, like the problem is we're introducing like kind of the main kind of like what has been driving so much of this is only being introduced now. Like the implication is Control has been kind of playing puppet master this whole time, but again, it was so ineffectively seeded that it feels less like a reveal and more like a, oh god, we just came up with this now, fuck it. It feels like a retcon, not
retcon
something...
everything.
Yeah, but midway through a season rather than like later. It's like, what? It's still, you know, like the first half of the season was entertaining enough. Like it's still not season 3 of Enterprise, which is philosophically reprehensible. But this is definitely one of the weaker seasons of Star Trek in a general way, I think, because of how badly the things have just kind of collapsed under their own weight.
It started
which is a shame because...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's it. It started out strong, and I feel like having introduced, or I guess reintroduced characters like Pike and Spock, which is good generally. It's a shame because I think that there's good foundations here. There's a good bones.
No, he's not in this season.
Not actual bones.
I wish.
But yeah, there's a good structure here. You have a solid foundation. You have very talented actors pretty much across the board. You've introduced these, fan favorite characters that you can kind of do new things with. And we end up just with this kind of like trite, boring time travel plot that's just not fun or interesting.
Yeah, the payoff just isn't worth it.
Well, it's trying to destroy the galaxy again, like we do every season of any Trek.
Yeah, which
I feel like this might be the introduction. I think we might be tired of that trope because it's every future season of Discovery as well as
Picard.
Every season of Star Trek Picard is that. But I feel like this is the first time when other than the films. Yeah, the films were, it was always like a big doomsday device thing.
But even that, when you think about the movies, I don't ever think all existence was in danger. Like,
Whale Probe was doing a good job.
Well, Whale Probe was going to kill Earth.
Like that thing, it's like, there was large scale destruction that was going to happen. Don't get me wrong. Like, he was going to fuck Earth. Q was going to keep humanity from existing in the TNG finale. But like...
all good things.
Thank you, yes. But again, like the motion picture.
Beecher.
Earth was going to get fucked. We're not clear what would have happened after that. The destruction may have spread. So that one's a little up in the air. Khan would have fucked a lot of shit up, but I don't think he would have destroyed everything.
No. He wanted to control everything.
Yeah. Again, 3 was just the Dennis' torpedo again. 4 was Earth. 5, Cybok just wanted to meet God.
But what did God want?
And God was just an alien that was in prison, so he would have probably just fucked shit up.
And ultimately could be killed by photon torpedoes, so he wasn't that powerful.
Yeah.
6 was this whole big political thing that maybe would have led to more war, but not like overt whatever.
But then there's the Kelvins.
Oh, I'm not the TNG movies. You've got
the TNG movies, you're right.
Malcolm McDowell was going to destroy a couple planets. And yes, again, don't get me wrong, the destruction, huge. But compared to all sentient life in the galaxy, minuscule. 7, again, Borg, that would have been bad. So yeah, that's maybe on this scale that we're talking here. again, it's not destruction, but it is like probably total assimilation of everything.
Insurrection is just the Baku.
Yeah, which again, horrible, but not this
and honestly,
scale.
like, yeah, in terms of like scope of a Star Trek adventure, say what you will about Insurrection, but like that's about where it should be.
Yes,
I think
exactly. And like it's interesting because this has also been a complaint with
Marvel.
New Doctor Who.
Oh.
Like every season's thing practically since it came back now, Jesus Christ, 20 years ago. It's funny that it's still the new one. Like the thrust of every season is like time itself is going to be unraveled. Whereas like back in the day, it was never like very rarely was it everything will be destroyed. But every season now is like everything's gonna be destroyed. And they're falling into that same trap here. Yeah, where it's like it's not enough for it to be a Star Trek level threat. It's not enough to just say, and what it says about us as a society, I don't fucking know. But to be like, just having thousands or millions of people be at risk isn't sufficient for a story. It needs to be literally everything. Why?
Because there are no higher stakes. Like this, I don't think people can grasp how big these stakes are, so that they're forced to like say this must be the biggest thing because it's the highest stakes.
See, but that then, to me at least, leads to the Star Wars problem, where I've always said like the problem with Star Wars is like the scale of their constructs, their ships, their stations is so huge that everything feels tiny. So it's like when there's no scale of stakes, like give me a more personal story about a smaller group of people or an individual being in danger that you have to save. Because that feels better as a story than this nebulous, somehow saying we're going to just destroy everything feels less important than we have to save the Baku.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is something I do give Insurrection. I know you don't care for Insurrection as a film, but I think Insurrection as a story does a good job telling that story.
Yeah, no, it was a good skeleton with some bad meat on it. This is like, I don't know what it is. It's like they started building a skeleton and then halfway through it turned to a different species. So we've wound up with some sort of like chimera.
Yeah, remember a couple of weeks ago where we had the Kelpian story? Where does that even fit in now? What? Okay, here's a question. Because I know like season 1, the kind of theme throughout season 1 is Michael being redeemed, and what are the moral ways that you can fight against something going on in Starfleet?
Yeah.
And there's some other themes as well, but that's the one I'm going to say right now because fuck my life. What is the theme this season? Like even Star Trek season 1, not Star Trek, stop, Picard season 1, my brain is off. Picard season 1 like had some really good themes.
Picard season 1.
I would argue that they're trying to, that like, if you look at the plot of Picard season 1, which, spoiler alert, it's basically the same as this season of Discovery. It's a malevolent, all-powerful AI that wants to wipe out all sentient life in the universe. Same fucking idea.
But
yeah,
I think
that's what's going on.
Without getting into details, I will say, like, I feel like based on what I remember of it, because I haven't seen it since I first watched it, Picard season 1 is again, I think, a case of a decent skeleton with some bad meat on it.
I mean, that skeleton was Patrick Stewart, and he did not look like he was doing very good, to be honest.
Oh, I still love him.
There are some themes and ideas in that season, like at sort of a base level, that I think were really good.
Yeah, there's a lot of fighting against like racism and othering of others and stuff.
Yeah, and there's stuff I think about like kind of the comparable to real world failings in the aftermath of tragedy. Mm-hmm. But we'll get to that when we get to Picard. Like, this season
of Discovery,
I feel like is actually sort of more comparable to season 2 of Picard, where it's just like, I don't know what any of the point is.
Yeah, where the point is, let's throw as many things against the wall. None of them will stick. We'll forget about them by the following week.
Yeah.
And just keep making things more and more complicated and claim that we're geniuses.
Now, having said that, I will still have enjoyed this more than season 2 of Picard, because that is one of the most disjointed messes, not just in Star Trek, but just in television. I do not know what they were trying to do or say with that season of television.
We're gonna have a lot of fun talking about it. That much I can say.
Yeah, like, again, still better than season 3 of Enterprise, because at least it has the decency to say ice is bad. Whereas John would fucking love them.
Jeez.
John definitely voted for Trump 3 times.
And maybe,
I totally
and maybe
forgot
more.
about I totally forgot about the ice plot in season 2 of.
Yeah, because they drop it.
Yeah, spoilers, I guess, for one of the worst seasons of Star Trek ever.
Woof.
Right, but yeah, this one similarly is just like, I remembered liking this one more. I forgot how. I think it's because, again, that first half was pretty solid.
I think it's that we have this kind of like mystery boxing of what is the red signal going to be, where you're starting off with this interesting mystery, but then by the time you've kind of started solving the mystery, you've just made new mystery. It's like the Lost problem, where they, instead of solving your mystery, they just turn it into 5 new mysteries every week until you have exponential number of mysteries by the end that you have to wrap up somehow. And we're on episode 10 now, so there's
not a lot
4 left. 4 left, I think. Let me check.
Yeah.
I think it's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 left after this.
Wow. Interesting. Yeah, like, and again, we mentioned a few weeks ago, or Jake did, that Goldsman, Akiva.
Yeah.
I can't think of his. Is there an S in his? Anyway, Akiva.
I think it's Goldman
was, of course, a protege of JJ. So again, we can blame JJ for this. Stop letting JJ do things. Fucking Rise of Skywalker is one of the worst movies ever. Into Sherlockness is very bad. And now this is kind of a mess. Like, JJ, take your residuals from Alias and go buy a nice house and chill for the rest of your life. Stop touching entertainment.
Were there any things we liked about this episode?
Oh, Ethan Peck said sensors right.
Sensors?
Uh-huh.
Like, right as in the way that Nimoy says it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, in his scene with Michael, he does say sensors, and I caught that, and I was like, oh, yay.
Good on him. Yeah, and that's like the thing I think was interesting this episode, because, you know, it's so Michael Burnham heavy this episode, but Sonequa Martin Green was acting her goddamn ass off.
Yeah.
And I actually, like, the scene in which, for seemingly no reason, Leland admits the thing about him getting her parents killed.
Yeah.
Watching her kind of face journey.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like, just watching her be like, oh my God, I thought this was my fault all along. And then the face morphs perfectly into, but it's your fault. Like, really good there. Like, so good from her.
Yeah, no, like, she's great. Like, they keep tossing her crazy shit to do, but she runs with it.
Yeah. Yeah, and her death scene, too, I thought was pretty well acted.
Wow, yeah. They needed a fucking safe word. Why didn't they plan this at all? They had time. There was no reason they had to do it on in a specific time, was there? They had lots of time.
I mean, it's time travel, so...
They could try again.
Couldn't they have given her the fake knockout juice from Amok Time?
Well, here's the thing, though. The Red Angel would know. I think that's kind of what Spock was getting at. It's like, we can't really fake this because the Red Angel is from the future and would know if we're cheating.
Yeah, basically he had to like she called their bluff. So he had to be like, all right, then it's not a bluff anymore.
Yeah.
Interesting that came from Spock and not Giorgio. I was expecting Giorgio to go with that. Nope, let's keep going with it because she's a hard ass.
It does also track with TOS Spock.
Ha!
True.
Like, I feel like early seasons Nimoy Spock definitely would have like, no, this is, yep,
Yeah, but what does it say then about where Burnham and Spock are at in their relationship? Like, they're still tense, even though they've started making up. They kind of understand where each of them is coming from now. And then Spock is like, no, we have to watch her die.
Needs the many, and she's the one.
Yeah. Like, well, I've made up with my sister. Now she can die.
Yeah, I thought that scene between them was good, too. Because, again, I think it gave a sense of, like, they're not best friends now, but they've maybe made a little crack in the, like, wall between them. I do think she never should have apologized to... Well, not apologized, but, like, even if you said it in anger, it's not wrong to say that Ash tying himself to Section 31 makes him morally questionable. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, no, they're bad people. Like, you were right.
But he's so smoochable.
Oh, God, he is. But doesn't change the fact that he's evil.
It's so funny that every single scene, because I feel like they're trying to keep Ash Tyler kind of nice so that you don't mind that you like him, that because he's so cute. So every time Michael goes to him, he's like, "Did you know about this horrible thing Section 31 did?" He says, No, I'm new. I don't know these things yet.
It's not in the handbook.
I just started last week. They haven't told me all the secrets yet. When they teach me all the secrets, then you can hate the crap out of me.
And this era of Section 31 definitely has a handbook with all the secrets in it that could be easily stolen.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
And yet they're able to, like, create this Red Angel tech, and they have a control as their AI leader thing, which is a terrible idea.
It's funny because this is so much more on the nose now that, like, generative AI and large language models are being pushed on us by marketers. Like, this was before all that, when evil AI was just a standard go-to sci-fi plot. But now it feels like, you know, if you didn't realize it wasn't coming out, like, if it was coming out now, you'd be like, come on, guys, this is a little too obvious. I do like, though, I thought the same thing, Jake. I was pretty sure those emitters were just the Shenzhou's sideways teleporters.
They totally were the old transporters.
Yeah, which, you know,
they just reused the prop.
It's nice for some Star Trek traditions to carry on.
Yeah. Like, why build it when we already have it?
Yeah.
They could have built that chair to look more comfy. Why did she have to be in a torture chair?
Well, because it was, I don't know. Just to make the scene seem even worse.
Make it cushy.
Yeah, it's like, look, just because you're not going to be happy doesn't mean you can't have something nice under your rump.
Story of my life. Yeah, and then, okay, so what do you guys then think of the reveal that it's Gabrielle Burnham, Michael's mother? Is it another shocking twist?
I mean, it's a twist because we're told that her parents are dead.
And that it was supposed to be Michael, so it's a double twist.
Yeah, and Leland was the one that killed them.
And maybe it's because I already know kind of what happens with it, that maybe I was more shocked the first time I saw it, but
yeah,
at least for now, I'm just like,
I don't remember how I felt at the time, but like Jake said, but I also at the time, of course, this was just Mom and then cut. So we haven't really met her yet or know what her drive is or anything like that.
I know my reaction was relief because the thought of Michael being the Red Angel felt stupid to me. But we're going to talk about that more in the next coming weeks. What is the stupidest thing they could have done?
Sonequa Martin Green and some fucking Back to the Future 2 quality old age makeup.
There you go.
Oh, wow.
Well, Back to the Future 2 / early seasons TNG old age makeup, which was the same makeup. Having said that, I need to go on record and apologize, actually, having just made fun of them yet again, to the old age makeup people for Back to the Future Part 2. Because I actually saw an older person recently in real life who looked like an old person from Back to the Future Part 2. So apparently some old people do look like that. And maybe that's just who the makeup artist knew.
Or it was someone in makeup.
Oh, shit.
Oh, my God. Anyway, sounds like we're having a not terribly good week with Discovery. We'll have to get Caitlin's take on it separate, but I remember because she included this also in her time travel episodes she didn't like, that I don't think it's going to be very positive either. Yeah,
this is, oof. It's a bit clunky.
Yeah, it's messy, it's convoluted, and like I said before, like, I don't understand literally anyone's motivation anymore.
I don't think the writers do.
Other than the writers need them to do this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of it just feels like it's not growing out of character, which, I mean, I think in the past, whether or not, it was a good thing what people were doing, it always, I feel like more often than not, it's like, I kind of, it's a bad choice or a good choice or whatever, but I got why it was the choice that was being made. Now a lot of it just feels like this has to happen, so it's happening. Yeah,
like, what is Georgiou up to right now? Because, she has a chat with Michael at one point, where Michael asks, why didn't you tell me about the Leland thing? And she's like, oh, it was fun, and, I was having a great time knowing things you didn't know, or whatever her answer was.
Yeah, maybe she was hoping she'd kill Leland.
But now that, like, Section 31 knows that the stakes now are the galaxy, they should be treating things fucking seriously and not just having fun knowing gossip.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
I mean,
looking fly while
Yes.
doing it. So there is that.
I mean, they are just collectively very bad people. So, you know.
Still so smoochable.
Mhm.
Abrupt segue, because I'm done.
Woo!
You guys have
Yeah.
anything else?
I think we've exhausted this well.
Jake?
Or we don't have a what?
We're moving on to our blogtivity.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Poor sleeping Jake.
So you look like you dozed off there.
So the last couple of weeks, apparently Jake needs a mind meld to give him back the brain that he's lost.
There we go.
Because we've been talking mind melds the last couple of weeks, and we're going to move forward with the next batch of mind melds.
Oh no.
Starting with, they're all bad in Enterprise. They're all bad. They're all terrible examples of mind melds.
Also the worst one ever, probably.
Yeah, this is the one in Fusion, which
Congrats.
is literally just mind rape.
Congratulations, Enterprise. You took Star Trek 6 and made it worse.
Yike. Yeah, because it's just disgusting. It's a disgusting episode. We've shown in this episode myriad times in other episodes and other blogtivities.
Oh, and every time it comes up after this, it's horrifying. It is not handled well.
Yeah, so what I can't even think about it like objectively because it's so disgusting. The episode where Talaris rapes T'Pol in the brain. Because it's what is it saying about the mind meld? Because it's supposed to be this thing that only certain groups do, and it's treated...
it was taboo.
Yeah.
Like
it was dark magic.
It really felt just like they were trying to give themselves a reason it wasn't showing up in Enterprise as much.
Yeah.
When the reason just could have been Vulcans are really secretive, and maybe it's not a thing they want to do in public a lot at this point.
I mean, it plays into the later plot about like the Sirenites and the whatever they were. Yeah.
The thing with that though is that feels less like something they were planning on and more like that season trying to fix the fuck up that was Fusion.
Yeah,
fair.
Because also now we have to get Star Trek to a point where in Enterprise the mind meld is banned, and you're an outcast from society if you do it.
And it might break your brain.
2, Spock does it every other week and loves it.
Yeah, like they set up this thing for some reason, and then they had to undo it later because it was like, wait, this does not jive with literally anything that has come before. Like that's a retcon.
This.
Yeah, like that's a retcon too far, like I'm okay with a certain amount of retcon, but like this actually just actively breaks so many stories. This isn't just like that time in TNG when they forgot that the Enterprise and TOS had in fact encountered a hole in space. Like this is, you have just undone, how many episodes have we talked about at this point? And movies and whatever?
Gross. It's gross. And they made a mistake. And okay, so do they kind of make up for the mistake when by the time we get to season 4, when we have a whole bunch more mind melds in Enterprise, starting with the Forge, in which Ciron puts his Katra into Archer?
I don't know, because that, again, it's just kind of like, we're kind of doing, like, search for Spock shenanigans, but, eh.
Yeah, I was all right with that. I mean, I actually
fine.
didn't mind the Sirenite arc.
Well, yeah, because it was fixing
there.
So much of the damage they had done.
Yeah.
Not just to, like, mind melding, but the Vulcans in general.
It did strike me as interesting is the word I'm going to use, but I'm not sure that's quite right. That Soval, the hardest of asses in Vulcan, is just like, yeah, I can mind meld with people, because he mind melds with that comatose corporal to figure out what went on with the bombing.
Yeah, that was definitely an ass pull.
Yeah, but I think the idea is, if they were using the mind meld as like a stand-in for being a marginalized group.
Yeah.
Which they were.
Yeah.
Because we also had the brain
Stigma.
aids
Yeah.
in Stigma. Like they definitely were. So having Soval be a closeted melder is, I mean, it makes sense. It's the exact, like, you could imagine the scandal it would be if it had come out publicly that he melded.
Yeah.
He melded dudes and gals, He he'd have to go out and publicly deny it. But so I don't know. I think it was fine. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah. And it put the plot forward as, mind melds tend to do when you need someone to get information, but there's no good way to do it without just asking and being boring about it. So good on him. Sobal becomes interesting by the end here. Our next mind meld is when T'Pau mind melds Archer in Awakening to figure out that there's a Katra in there. I don't think she does anything about it yet, but...
I don't think so, no. She just kind of downloads the data she needs.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. Whatever.
Yeah. More plot furthering. Same in Kirshara. Good God. I wrote down that T'Pau mind melds T'Pol, and I don't remember why.
She cures her of her...
You're right. Yes. That's it.
Yeah, again, it's part of the,
Yeah, fixing that fucking terrible mess that they made for themselves.
Yeah, more of the we never should have written fucking merge or not fusion.
I hope that's what the writers think of it, because I feel like at the time they were super cool with it. But I don't want to put my opinions onto the writers and speak for them.
Well, I think in this case it's a safe bet, because the season 4 was when that guy sort of took over, who was
Manny Koto, yeah.
Manny Koto took over and was I really need to make this make sense as a lead-in to TOS.
Right.
So, yeah, I think, whatever he had thought of fusion, I don't know. But clearly he was I need to at least make mind melds okay. Yeah,
mind melds have to be okay. T'Pol can't be dying of Panar syndrome.
Yeah.
All this stuff.
Yeah, we don't know his reasoning beyond that. We can't say what he thought about fusion as a concept, but he knew he had to fix it for plot reasons. I will not put moral stances into his mouth. I would hope he found it fucking reprehensible, but I don't know him.
Okay, we have 2 more in Enterprise. One is also gross, and that's when T'Pol mind melds Hoshi to figure out what went wrong when Phlox got kidnapped, but Archer basically forced her to do it.
Ugh, yeah, Archer sucks.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, so it makes me not sure what I feel about that one, aside from we have to make sure mind melds, are just a thing in Vulcan culture now. Yeah. So T'Pol, start doing them right away.
Yeah, had that show kept going, they would have made up for the deficit, and she would have had numbers akin to Spock. Would have been an episode where she had to mind meld Porthos for some reason.
Oh my God. Where does Archer keep his cheese? And then the last one it's referenced in Enterprise, but we don't see it. But that's that Mirror T'Pol mind melded Mirror Tucker to get him to do bullshit for her.
Kind of Manchurian Candidate him.
Yeah, which is another one of those using mind melds as a weapon, which makes sense in the Mirror Universe that they totally
much
would.
So. Yeah, no, that tracks with who they are.
It is how they do.
Mm-hmm.
We have a bunch in the Kelvin films, and let's start with when Nimoy Spock mind melds Kelvin Kirk, which I had already forgotten happened by the time I was making this list after we watched the movie.
Well, that was how it was I could explain everything to you, or I could just download it into your brain.
We can create a montage scene. We love it. Which is, I guess, mostly for narrative purposes for the episode, which is fine.
The thing is, they still could have. It's literally just him narrating while they show the montage, so it didn't have to be a mind meld. They still could have done the scene the exact same way, except he's talking to Kirk, but they wanted to do a mind meld.
I feel like Kelvin Kirk wouldn't get it unless he were shown it.
True.
He seems like he would be. He's too much of a firecracker to sit down and listen.
Kelvin Kirk's a visual learner.
And plus, you just know that Spock likes to mind meld everybody he sees, so.
Yeah.
Because we also get the other Spock, Quinto Spock. He gets to mind meld some random Romulan.
I don't remember this.
This is, I believe, on Nero's ship.
Yeah. What, is it just to get information from him about where the squid ship was or something?
Something like that. Yeah, he got information forcefully via mind meld. I don't think it's nearly as bad as Valeris, but it's still like Spock.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Never know how to feel about it.
And again, very much like in that case of not really getting that it's a merging of a mind and using it as a data transfer protocol.
Yeah, it's like we need the characters to know a thing. I have a tool for that. Mind meld.
A Vulcan. All Starfleet pocket knives come with a tiny Vulcan for when you need a mind meld.
Okay, last one is Star Trek Into Darkness, when Spock mind melds Pike whilst he's dying, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
What was the point of that one? I don't remember.
I don't remember either. I have already put the 3 Kelvin movies entirely out of my memory.
I think
gone.
he literally just wanted to mind meld with someone who was dying. Like, I think he
that
literally
doesn't
says
seem very Spock.
It doesn't, but I think he does say, like, he wanted to know what he was feeling or something. Yeah, that is...
That's
that
weird.
movie was
Did
not
Pike
as bad
consent?
as... Well, he was dying, no. Yeah, no, that, like... Well, not as bad as I remember, is still definitely the worst of the Kelvin films, so I have already re-forgotten it.
Well, it will be up on the Tumblr.
All right. Well, we have melded.
Yeah, well, we'll come back to this for new Trek sometime in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, very cool. Thanks for putting that list together, Ames.
Yeah, you'll see it up on the Tumblr. We'll see
it.
If I missed any, or if if my reason for why Spock, Mirror Spock, or Kelvin Spock did this to Kelvin Pike is entirely wrong. That is my fault because I have forgotten that movie entirely.
Yeah, I don't quite remember either. What I said, I don't know if that's correct. That's what I think he says.
I'll look up a transcript and see how close it is.
Yeah.
But as usual, you can find more about this on our blog at Tumblr. That's SSHB Podcast. You can go to sshbpodcast.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Blue Sky, and other places. You can download our podcast from SoundCloud, as well as any other podcasting hosting service, YouTube,
YouTube. Mm-hmm. I started watching on YouTube because I like that it creates a playlist.
Ooh, nice. But until then, well, next week on our show, I'm sorry, I forgot to announce next week. Next week, we will be talking about the next episode of Star Trek Discovery.
Whoa!
Perpetual Infinity.
That's
what
a lot.
Stupid name.
Is that
sounds like
that's redundant, isn't it?
It's redundant.
Like
it sounds like
forever.
Like a high school band, like Battle of the Bands.
Yes, it does.
We are Perpetual Infinity.
That is, yeah. Oh, that is people who think they are way deeper than they are.
There's definitely someone with a tambourine.
Oh, big time. Yes. But so that's next week. Until then, my name has been Jake.
There's been Chris.
And this is always Ames. And that's
Bye.
it.
Yep. Mom.